Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome back to the Sunday Recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a bit about my last week in games. And as always, we'll start with EVE Online, where, as you may know, I have been working on my reputation with the corporation in order to get into level 4 missions in a Caldari space. I basically spent the whole week focusing on the low level missions, basically to try and learn them a little bit, although in a Vexor they are of course hardly a challenge, but also to see how efficient or inefficient they are to increase your rep. And so for 1 week there's basically one station where there's 2 level 1 security agents for the corporation that I'm working for at the moment, and basically what I did every day was do both of them up until the point where they would give me a mission that would ask me to challenge the Galente, so take down another faction's rep. That's what I don't want to do, and I did that for about a week and I managed to get myself to like 375. So overall I would say that it's doable. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's definitely decently grindy, but another week I think would get me to 5.0 without too much trouble. I must also say I did add a few days, 2 days I think, where I did a level 2 mission agent as well, because I was like really unlucky with the 2 level 1s, where maybe 3 missions in or something like that I would get the Galente one. So I did, balance out the time a little bit so that I could do a decent amount of effort, but overall it felt like it was not too grindy. Definitely something that I could do at the end of my work day, and then after that focus on other stuff as well. So quite doable in my opinion, although definitely a grindy aspect to it as well, when it launches you like a dozen missions one after another to do, but that gives you progress. So overall I feel pretty good about that. I managed to thus get past 3.0, which gives me access to level 3 missions, I think. I'm not sure if it's 3.0 or somewhere within the trees, but that's where I managed to get. And so I'm now looking at a battle cruiser to build in order to also do some level 3 missions, and perhaps see how long it then takes to get my rep from that 375 mark into the 5.0 mark, so that I can get started on the level 4 missions. I have yet to decide on which battleship I want to take in there first. So far I've really been focusing on using the drones. I personally love that weapon system because of its versatility, right, where you can take small, mediums and perhaps even large drones with you. That should give you all the options you need to counter whatever the mission throws at you. But we will see how that evolves. Eventually, of course, I do think I may transition into the missiles, because the end goal there is probably still the golem for me personally. So that's what I've been doing in EVE Online next to PI, and it's actually been like a full week where my jobs are still running for the BPCs, so I haven't gotten any updates on the blueprint copy business. Well, PI, as we know from EVE Talk, is still really not good for those that just produce rather basic items, and the advanced ones for the structures actually got a little bit of a boost in price and demand, and that is apparently because of a sort of a beacon that was launched that actually requires a decent chunk of PI in order to build. So yeah, it's not exactly what I was expecting there, but it's a first item, of course, that does require advanced PI. That shows that perhaps more of them are on the way, because that is something that CCP did hint at in some of their Twitch streams and things like that. So overall, yeah, PI for now, it's still the same story for me. I'm doing it every day, every 24 hours. I activate my extractors, and then whenever my planets get full, I do take out all of that PI, but I don't sell it. I'm hoarding all of it, hoping that perhaps there's even like a fuel component for those new structures, and that could really boost my coolants productions and all of that good stuff to higher prices. So I'm really hoarding, and it's starting to be a lot of PI that I've got in a Mars space quite far away from Jita for the real selling, but we'll see how we manage that. Perhaps I'll do a part in a Mars space, and then a part in Minmatar space, and then another part in Jita itself to see where what sells how well, but we need to wait for that turnaround. And yeah, I'm on that boat where I'm not going to invest in PI, but I'm definitely hoarding everything that I produce, hoping that those announcements and the changes GCP could bring to the game will actually increase the value of what I'm producing through PI at the moment. So yeah, that's the plan there, and that's really it. Of course, when you're focusing on a single thing, that does tend to take up pretty much all of your time. And yeah, it went to missions this week. Pretty interesting. I would still say that I actually am enjoying the missioning at the moment, and I think the especially the level 1s that I've seen pretty much everything that they have to offer, and yeah, it's actually quite doable in the Vexor, and a lot of them can actually be done pretty quickly and efficiently as well there. And so that left me with some more time to play Space Engineers, and we have basically been preparing and experimenting for our second assault on that salvage facility. We have built 2 tanks. I basically built a tank, and then my brother actually made a copy of that using the projector. Very interesting way that once you get the design done that you really like and you want to build more of them, you know, that's definitely something that's quite useful for that. I've actually been experimenting for the rover drones with that. They're really annoying to get going. I'm still not really sure how the hell it works, but I can now like work my way through the wheel settings in order for them to at least go to the waypoints that I ordered them to go to. And so I've basically been designing some small scale simple defense drones that work on battery power and solar panels. Basically across the armor there's quite a bit of solar panels there, and then there's always like one Gatling gun on top of the drone to fire at enemies that may be incoming. And now we basically have to decide if we want to just try with the 2 tanks, or if I want to try to take some of these defense drones with me. Now they're pretty slow, so I'm really not sure if that's going to be quite doable. But what I did manage to do, so at this point I think I've got like 3 rover drones with the Gatling gun ready, and basically in the settings that I could just, you know, make my way closer to the target, then put down 2 waypoints. I do need to give them like a patrol order, and then just, you know, add those waypoints to the patrol order for the drones, and they would just, you know, rush towards that, or rush, well, in their small slow drone way, they would make their way towards the battlefield that way. But yeah, they'll be pretty slow. Once you go too fast, they can flip over, they can make mistakes. That's always a little bit dangerous, and they need like that friction turning settings for their wheels. So, you know, going in a straight line is not always easy for these drones either. It's still a mess. I still need to figure out how I can optimize these little rover drones. But that's basically what I've been working on for the large cube, for the Borg cube. I've been adding more solar power because after a successful assault on the salvage facility, the plan is to go into space so that we can get the final different resources, and then you know, get new engines in there, perhaps even a warp engine, or visit the nearby moon and the nearby planets. There's actually a couple of planets nearby. At least I think they're planets. We still haven't really been able to take a close look at those or anything like that. But that's the plan in Space Engineers, and I'm definitely looking forward to trying to make some more progress there. I'm really curious to see how the tank is going to hold up against the enemy when we take our second swipe at that salvage facility. And then also maybe one warning: there may be a pause then next week in the Space Engineer stuff. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do, but a new expansion is coming out for X4 Foundations. I know that my brother has been looking forward to that one a lot, and so he's definitely going to you know, buy that day one and get into some X4. I may do the same. I'm just not sure. So at this point we will see what piques my interest in the upcoming week, because it's on the 16th. So on Tuesday next week that X4 expansion is coming out. It's definitely on my radar as well. Perhaps not day one, but I am going to jump into some X4 with the Terrans at some point as well, because it does look really cool. You've got terraforming as well, so an end game thing that I think you could also try to do as more of a trader like character, which is how I prefer to play the game, actually, in a very sandboxy way. So X4, you know, expansion coming next week, definitely on the radar, and we'll definitely get that going at some point as well. But that was my last week in games, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.